There are subtle signs which shows that you are doing well financially even though it may not feel like it to you. The first sign that shows that you are doing financially well is that you are not trying to show your wealth to others but building it quietly. Many people tend to want to buy certain items to obtain a certain level of status. Unfortunately, in modern day society's status game, it's become a norm to buy certain products to signal to everyone that you have wealth. You see it on social media all the time where people are showing off their brand new watches, their cars, or their homes. Using big ticket items to flaunt how much money you have is a sign that you are not doing well financially. For example, if you're buying a Ferrari, you're probably just trying to show people that you're successful enough to buy a $300,000 car, and not because you love the inner workings of how a Ferrari works. Sure, you do get the few people who make the purchase because of those reasons, but for the most part, most people are buying a Ferrari because it's a Ferrari. If a Ferrari was as common as a Toyota, you probably won't have as many people showing it off on social media. And for the most part, many people who do buy a Ferrari, we don't really know if they bought the car completely or are paying monthly premiums way above their financial limit, which will inadvertently cause a chain reaction of debt in other aspects of their life. You should not be influenced on what you see online. Many people from America and from around the world for that matter are falling for this trap. The average installments Americans pay per month on a car is skyrocketing through the roof. There are so many people who have a car installment of $1,000 a month, and an average car price which is selling for $67,000 is being financed over 72 months. It seems everyone is seeking the wrong things. So many people from around the world are getting into insane amount of debt. Instead of buying expensive items to try elevate your social status, you should be seeking financial peace of mind through building wealth by means of reducing your expenses and increasing your investments. In the long run, buying expensive things just to try to impress people who you don't really care about will negatively impact your life. And that's not what we want. The goal on this channel is to help people get to financial freedom at a much faster pace than what they would have by not watching the channel. Now, in order to get to this financial freedom that I mentioned, there are a few more signs that really shows me that we have the fundamentals down of building wealth. You might already be doing these, so let me know down in the comments section. But another sign that you are doing well financially is that you're able to meet your monthly spending and expenses expectations. This means that you have some sort of budget created and always ensure that your expenses are lower than your income. For example, you have a net salary of $50,000 per year and your yearly expenses are only $40,000. This means that you would have an excess of $10,000 which can be used to put into an investment of your choice. I personally have created a budget sheet which works well for me, where I track all my income and my expenses along with where I invest my savings. If you haven't already, I would strongly suggest you create a sheet which fits your style, where you are able to diligently track your financials. Have a look at this screenshot of the budget template that I have. And if you don't already have a budget template and would like to have one like mine, then let me know down in the comment section and I can leave a link to my template for absolutely free, because it's really important that everyone has a budget sheet. At the end of the month, I get pretty excited to see how my expenses have been over the month and in how much of a surplus I am in. I personally have been tracking my expenses for almost a decade. If you ask me how much I spent on gas during the month of February in 2016, by looking at my budget sheet, I would be able to give you an answer for this. So based on what I have tracked on my expenses, I can see how all my expenses have changed over the years. And with all this data, I am able to cut out on certain expenses which I feel is too high. By looking at my budget sheet, I can see that certain expenses over the years have not gone up at all, even though my income has increased. That visually shows me that I am living well below my means, and that's actually the next sign that you're doing well financially, is that you're living below your means. The number one way to increase your wealth over time, because if you live below your means, that means you will have enough money to save and invest regularly. This will also allow you to have flexibility in your life, meaning that you'll be able to do what you want later on in your life. Whether this is to travel the world or to have a job that you're passionate about but is not the best paying. By living below your means, you'll also be able to retire earlier as you would need less money to spend. According to Bill Bengen, who created the 4% retirement rule, states that the 4% rule is a guideline that recommends retirees withdraw 4% of their retirement fund's nest egg in the first year after retiring, and then withdraw the same dollar amount adjusted for inflation every year thereafter. With this strategy, you could retire once you have a nest egg big enough that you could survive with just 4% withdrawn per year from that pool of funds. For example, if you can survive on $30,000 per year for all your expenses, then you need your nest egg investment to be worth around $750,000. But if you have a slightly higher expense per year of $50,000, you need to have saved up $1.25 million. Meaning the lower you live below your means, the earlier you'll be able to retire. This strategy will allow you to withdraw the same 4% amount adjusted for inflation every year without losing your investment capital, provided it's been invested into a fund returning at least 8% per year, which can easily be achieved by investing it into the S&P 500 index fund. Now, before we move on to the next sign, if you have liked this video so far and would like to continue seeing more of these types of videos, then please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel. So, by living below your means will mean that you are able to diligently manage your debts, which is the next sign that you are doing well financially. The average American has debt worth around $21,800, and this does not include your mortgage. According to some studies, most of this debt is coming from credit card payments. Ideally, you want to ensure your debts are way lower than those numbers, but having the debt is not the problem. Having debt is perfectly fine, provided that every month you are able to pay off the minimum amount that you owe. That shows me that you are doing much better financially than you think. What you don't want is to carry credit card debt, because this is one of the highest charges on interest rate and is a silent wealth killer that not many people know about. If you do carry over credit card debt, make it your priority to pay this off as soon as possible. The next sign that you are doing financially better than you think is by having an emergency fund. If you have seen some of my previous videos, you would have noticed that I have spoken about how important it is to have an emergency fund in the event of an emergency. This article states that 57% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency expense. Now, if you save up just $1,500 in an emergency fund, you would be already ahead of most Americans. Ideally, you'd like to have between 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses saved up in your emergency fund. So generally, if your monthly expense is $1,000, then have between $3,000 to $6,000 in your emergency fund. And this fund can be used for anything from paying for an unforeseen medical expense, a new tire for your car, or any expense which is unplanned but needs to be paid for immediately. What this fund is not meant for is a down payment for your car or home, travel, or regular shopping. Now, we have spoken about all the signs which shows that you are doing financially better than what you think you are. However, there are signs out there which should be a warning to you. If you notice any of these signs, then these should be putting you on high alert, as these signs could be the beginning of it negatively affecting your financial life. The first and major warning sign, but a pretty obvious one, is that you are borrowing money to make ends meet. The purpose of an emergency fund, as I mentioned earlier in the video, is to ensure that you have the money in the event of an unforeseen expense such as a medical bill or replacing your vehicle tires. If you are borrowing money just to buy groceries or to pay for gas, this should light up as a major warning sign to you. The second warning sign is that you find speaking about money or managing your income and expenses as boring. One way to avoid this is to try maintaining a schedule to follow with managing this. If you are updating your income and expense sheet, maybe considering doing it once a month rather than multiple times a month. Trying to be consistent with this is the key to ensuring you remain on the right path. The next warning sign is that you see a payment on your bank account which surprises you. Yes, there may be that one time when you go out with your friends and end up buying a round of drinks which may surprise you the next day, but ensure that this happens on a very occasional basis rather than every month. If you can avoid these warning signs, then you should be able to build your net worth over time. And this is the final sign that you are doing better financially than what you may think. People doing well financially see consistent growth in their wealth over time as investment builds up and compounds. This should be as a result by growth driven by a combination of your savings, regular contributions to your investment portfolio, and good investment returns. If you have just started investing in the last year or two and don't see any growth, don't panic as the markets go through their ups and downs. However, in the space of 10 years or more, your portfolio should increase in value over time. Of course, provided you have invested into the right investment. If you understand this, then you are doing better financially than most people in the world. If you are someone who has been investing over the past couple of years in your financial journey, have a look at where you were versus where you are. Remember that anything in life, consistency is key. So if you continue improving on something every day, every month, every year, you are bound to become successful. Just keep at it. I hope this video has been insightful and has helped you understand that you are doing better financially than what you may think. If you have liked this video, then you will like my next video about investing into index funds for beginners. Like and subscribe for more.